Yep, we're good. We're recording.
Okay, so today's June 12th. We got the Finance Committee meeting. I'm Julia Olafson. Here with me today is Mr. Jarek, Mr. Strobel, Dr. Cooper, Mr. Lelig. And so we have two things on the agenda. We'll start with the transportation update. Is that okay?
That sounds good.
Okay.
I handed down on a page transportation compared to different years, 1920, 2021, 21, 22, and 22, 23. And comparing the two, if you look halfway down the page, you have total expenditures. Right below, you have $3,618,075 as compared to 22, 23 activity, which is $2,936,195. Those were our costs between the two transportation choices that we had, and that was affected with our subsidy that we get from the state. If you look at the total subsidy, you're looking at $1,397,291 in 21-22, as compared to $1,716,362. So net expenditures as compared 21-22 to 22-23, we're saving between Roads and Klein and Christ about $1 million.
1 year.
In just the 1 year.
Just the 1 year.
Just 1 year, correct? What made it go up? Would you know what made it go up from 1.6 and 20, 1.7 and 21, and then 2.7 and 22? That's a significant jump. That's almost $1 million.
What happened was, speaking with Kathleen and Dr. Cooper, there were different reasons why it went up, and one was what Christ did, they used more efficient routes, and they didn't have buses. So when buses were required, they just had a bus for that. And then it increased our costs. Also, the subsidy.
$1 billion. Close to $1 billion.
Now, if you look at the 3.6 as compared to 3 million, we're looking at about 600,000. The difference in the cost lowering is the
Which
subsidy.
line are you on? Total expenditures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
The
subsidy
2.5 to 3.6 is 1.1 billion, right? In 1 year. That wasn't a contract year. That was just the same contract. Is that correct? So I'm just wondering what occurred during that year. All additional buses over $1 million.
You mean from 2020, 21 to 21?
2021 to 21, 22.
Yeah.
You look at line 3, it's $1.1 million, and that's just that. And that's with the previous bus company. So,
I mean,
but if you look at the year before that, it went up 400,000.
One of the things you have to take into consideration is the last part of the 1920 school year is when we experienced a shutdown there. There were still some monies paid to the contract service providers as towards the end of the year, but also 1920, 2021, we did have we did, but we had in 2020, 21 we're running that hybrid schedule too, which I'm not sure that had some type of an impact with transportation. Could have been less runs, that sort of thing. So that would have been factored in the difference between those 2 years in particular.
In 2022, 21, 22, we were full board. We were open.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, go to prison, see all the data of it.
Yeah.
So when you look at it and you compare the numbers, it looks like, oh my gosh, it jumped tremendously, whereas it would have been, I'm thinking around 3 billion, so you would have a significant, not as much as the increase in 2022.
And the subsidies, it says percentage paid by subsidies. Where the subsidies, okay, so
They come from the state, and it's a percentage that we get. And we were expecting for 23, 24 to be an increase in addition. So it went from roughly from 1921, 4, 1.5, down to 1.4, up to about 1.7.
And there is a lag of 1 year in the subsidies. So,
those
if
subsidies,
you remember,
yeah, go ahead.
because of the newer vehicles in this year of this contract, those increasing subsidies won't be recognized until the 23, 24 fiscal activity.
But we're taking that into account from a mathematics standpoint.
No, we're not. If it says there's subsidies from the prior year, so that subsidy number is pushed forward one. So we don't have the subsidy number yet for the current year. Is that correct?
That's right.
Do you know what tech supplies and licensed transportation would be? Again, 2021, maybe 1920, 21, 2021, and 21, 22. It's like 5 times higher, and then it goes back down again. And I'm just looking. I don't, not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just want to understand it. Do you know what caused that jump like that?
In what service?
And it's all the way down the bottom.
Okay.
Like if you go down the
Yeah, technical
first level,
supplies,
it says
licensed.
Tech supplies
Yeah.
/ licensed transportation licensed trans. It's the second one up. The second one up above the first total. We're 2.779974. It's up to it goes up to $25.
I can look into that.
Yeah.
Give you a reason why the number, because in 22, 23, it came back down.
Right. It's not $1 million. It's not like it's affecting the overall. Just wondering.
But still, it's large.
It's substantial.
Yeah. Thank you for putting this together for us.
Fantastic.
All right. Anybody have any questions other questions for Christian? Mr. Levin, sorry. Okay. Moving on to the next thing, debt service.
Next thing I'm going to talk about is bring someone in, take a look at Danny Boone's debt service, where we're at, what was done, and maybe give us ideas for the future opportunities that they can look at. So I brought in Concord Public Financial. They have 2 offices, one in Reading, one in Lancaster, and Darryl Beck, he was going to come up and give a little presentation on our debt service.
Good evening, everyone. I'm working from this book. Does everybody have this?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you, first of all. This on? Okay.
It says it's on.
It is.
Got to get a little closer, maybe.
Okay.
There you go.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, good evening, and thanks for having me and the opportunity to review your existing debt. I've spoken at a couple meetings with Mr. Lalik, and really all the information I get kind of from public information sources, and then almost re-verify it with the school district. So I'm going to keep this very high level. This is not at all to get into any kind of recommendations or suggestions. This is really, where are you today and where are you going? And I start this whole presentation with first kind of a quick narrative, then get into some numbers. Again, high level, both numerically and graphically, and then just some kind of thoughts and opportunities that might be before you in the next couple of years. So, again, on page 1, the school district has 7 bond issues and 1 energy lease or note. And I'm looking at this as of June 30th, 2022, so really coming into the year that you're closing. I think that's important. Start where you are today, meaning in this fiscal year, and then that way you know from a reference point, because I know you're talking about the budget right now going into next year, so it's always good to know where are you in the current year as you look going into the next year. I think that would be helpful for you. So as of June 30th, 2022, you had debt of about $67 million. Fast forwarding to the end of this year, that'll be reduced to a little over $63 million. So real quickly, you can see we're paying down about $4 million of debt from principal.
Per year? Per year?
Per year, yes. I'll show you that in more detail, but just kind of a good quick reference point, $4 million a year of principal being paid down. All the school district's debt is fixed rate and is scheduled to be repaid in its entirety by 2035 or 36. 2 good news items there. Number 1, all of your debt is fixed interest rate, meaning it's not variable, it's not going up and down and kind of at risk for higher rates in the future. And from a standpoint of when are we going to pay off our debt, currently all of your debt will be paid off in 13 years. So again, pretty reasonable and pretty fiscally responsible. The district's annual gross debt service is a little over $5.8 million. After the state subsidy, which is what the state pays towards your debt, Your net annual debt service is about $5,240,000. And those payments are generally consistent going forward. What I mean by that is you're not like running into a wall where, all of a sudden your debt's going to go up in any given year. So that difference is the state subsidy of about $600,000. So again, that's kind of a real high bird's eye view. And even your debt as a percent of budget is certainly, kind of reasonable and fiscally. So again, good news there. So a lot of numbers on page 2. And some people are going to really like slot the next page, I think, or the next page when I turn it graphically. But, so I talked about you have 7 issues. Those are in the columns 2 through 9. Again, I started with current year you're in or your end date, 2023 as the base. I talked about your total gross debt service in column 10, summing them across, a little over $5.8 million, less the state subsidy of $550,000, gives you net debt service, or what's the net that the school district pays, of about $5.3 million. And really the focal point being, even though different issues pay off at different times, the focal point is column 10, the blue box, and column 12, the green box. Column 12 is the gross debt service that you pay, again, about $5,850,000 for the 13 years. And in column 12 being the net after the subsidy, and again, consistent, actually goes down next year by about $50,000, but relatively the same number, and that being about $5,240,000. Again, keeping it that number, so you're not looking at, oh my gosh, my debt's going to go up in a year or 2 or 3 years from now. Kind of a lot of detail at the bottom there about the reimbursement, but net, you're getting about 9.5% of subsidy from the Commonwealth on an annual basis of the debt service. And again, just showing, you're paying off for 15 years. Page 3, I just think this is kind of a useful tool. Everybody looks at their gross debt service being about $5.8 million. All this is meant to do is kind of break out interest and principal of that debt service. So in column 15 is the interest portion, column 16 is the principal portion, the percent, and then cumulative percent. And then I guess Mr. Strobel, you were saying how much you pay down in principal a year. Column 16 shows you that. And then column 19 really shows you your running, declining principal debt. So again, just a tool, kind of good information to have as we look forward. Take away from this sometimes is how quickly do we pay off 50% of our debt. In column 18, by 2030, 7 years from now, you'll pay almost 53% of your principal debt off. But again, kind of all that's there presented to you, really just information purposes. Page 4 is the graphical presentation of page 2. I know, a lot of numbers on page 2. This is the picture I think everybody's saying, wow, that makes sense. So the blue bars is the gross debt service. That's the total amount you pay at about $5,850,000. And the green bars are the net debt service after the state subsidy. And that there again is the level about $5,240,000 until the third last year. So all page 4 is a graphical presentation of page 2. I'll let you decide which page you look better. And then really just want to kind of close with on page 5 with possible upcoming refinancing opportunities. We all know interest rates have been extremely low over the past couple of years. Most all of your debt was refinanced for savings. We all know rates are higher today. So 5 of your 7 bond issues are callable or prepayable in 2025. All that's saying is you have financial flexibility and possible refinancing opportunities in the near term. Of those 7 bond issues, fast forward, if today's market condition, or as of today, if we were fast forwarded in 2025 or late 2024, there would be a possibility to refinance your 2017 bonds. The principal amount of those is about $12,775,000, and the estimated savings available is $250,000. It's not time that you can do that, but I think it's just that might be in our back pocket, or that might be in our future if market conditions. Yes.
How are you getting them savings by an interest reduction? Or assuming a reduction in interest, or stretching the term.
No. Well, for purposes of this analysis, it's keeping the same term. And it's not a cash out refinancing, meaning you don't create cash, you pay less than you would have paid.
Okay? How you pay the savings is what I'm saying. We're gonna refinance, let's just say 12/7.
Okay?
Where's the savings come from?
You would have that decision
No, I'm saying, how do you create $250,000 in savings?
by lower interest rates.
By lower interest rates. So this is assuming that we're gonna have an opportunity for lower interest rates 2 years from now than we refinance back then.
If the rates that are in place today
Right.
are available in 24 or 25 when they become callable, you could save $250,000.
So they're actually lower than when they signed the bond way back when.
Yes.
Okay.
Rates today are lower than rates from 17.
So,
17. Right.
so in a year and a half, or would that we be talking about like June 2024 or
The
which?
bonds are callable, I think, in February of 25.
Okay, so close enough, a year and a half, I
Late
guess.
24.
Okay, so you're saying that if the interest rates are the same as they are now,
Or better.
if they were lower, be opportunity for more savings?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I just want to give you kind of a snapshot.
okay.
Where do the fees come in on stuff like this? I know loan to loan, there's got to be fees involved. So that 250 net all the fees,
That's net of all fees.
approximately, if you were to guess, where I not be held responsible for it.
Well, actually, that depends. I'm not going to be evasive with the question, but we would look at a bank loan or a bond issue. The fees are lower for a bank loan. The fees are higher for a bond issue, but the rates might be a little bit higher on a bond issue. So the answer is, you really don't care. It's whatever gets you the most savings.
Well, I actually do care, but.
I know. But what I mean is you're willing to pay
There's
a
a difference between a bond and a bank loan.
What's the difference? About 100,000.
Yeah, there's differences there. There's other different things you can do with them, right? Is that correct?
Sorry.
There's different things that you're still, no early on prepay penalties, anything else.
Potentially a bank loan doesn't have any prepayment penalty.
Right, the bond would.
Yes, usually 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, because I know there's differences in them somewhere, so I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that when we look at this, we're going to look at all the pieces.
Absolutely.
Make sure, 'cause, look at the net, I get it, but there's other things you may lose in that net.
Correct.
Okay.
My answer always is you're doing a financing.
Right.
It's not it's not are you doing a bank or are you doing a bond? My answer is I don't know. And maybe you kind of don't care. It's what gets you the best net benefit.
I think sometimes when we, and again, not you, I'm saying in the past, we're looking at some of this debt. We ran into a situation a few years back when we were staring at a $12 million cliff. And thank God the rates were what they were. We were able to spend everything in 2 years to save $50 million. And then we publicly didn't get beat. There was some verbalness coming at us because we upped our debt ratio by, $3 million or something, when really we averted the crash because of previous boards taking all the savings up front, taking it down the pipe for the boards. Nobody looks at that stuff, so that's why I was asking this question. Yes, it's good to look at this stuff, it really is.
So, my thought is that it should be kind of on the calendar for right after school starts, or maybe October of 2024, to have him come back and we'll see where we are, and if we're gonna, because if we have to make this decision by February 2025,
Yeah.
is that right?
Absolutely. And I'm willing, even beyond that, I can certainly update Mr. Valley,
Yeah.
kind of every couple of
What-
months.
I would, Mr. Lelig, I would put that in your calendar just in case I'm not here. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point.
We have a task on your Apple account.
all right.
And then obviously, continue to look at the other issues too. That's just the only one that's.
That's the one that jumped out at you?
But if rates start falling, other ones will come.
Yeah, sure.
Come available.
So, yeah, I thought that some of the other ones that I thought we were taking advantage of some pretty significant decreases in interest rate at the times that we did those refis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you said that there are another 4 that could be
Yes.
called.
Yeah, actually.
In
you act-
2025,
you actually
25?
the Call dates are at the bottom.
Okay. Oh, okay. I
As a
missed it.
reference. I didn't cite them all, but.
Okay.
One of the things I don't think everybody looks at sometimes, and then maybe we look at it, take this
Oh, I see.
$81 million, just keep rolling, and it's 5 years later, you're still rolling. You know, we got 13 years, it's gone. You know, and so that's got to be another plus. And then you take a look at these, where do we do something with them? Okay, we're looking at 7 years in, you know, 'cause that's what we have left before we're gone. So, you know, instead of kicking it out another 15 years, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff, just paying interest on interest, you know. Or on the principal that you're just reducing it pretty heavily, but, you know, putting
It-
something else where I think our money comes to like that.
One thing, you know, I will say is that, you know, it would be atypical to be a school district that didn't have some money tied up in debt based on like either improvements or changes to the buildings, because, you know, school district is kind of like a living, breathing thing, you know, so it's constantly changing. You know, I'm just saying.
I got you.
Yeah. I'm not looking for my next bond issue now that some of them are going to be gone in 13 years. But you know, a future board probably when they get to like T-6 years, they might be looking to build something new. You know, none of us will be gone. All right. Anything else you wanted to share with us from your high level view?
No, I mean, again, I think you're in good shape.
Excellent.
I wanted to update you, slowly as we do so, and
All right.
I will keep in touch with him, you know, on that refinancing opportunity, just to, you know, it's gonna go like this, so.
Thank you for coming out on this miserable day.
Yep, all right,
Take care.
thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Public comment? Okay. We're going to call it for now.